for surely I know the plans I have for you.
England, Wales, and Northern Ireland are three parts of the United Kingdom within the group of islands known as the British Isles. Although there is much they share, they are also diverse, with different languages, cultures, and governments. The population of England, Wales, and Northern Ireland has been enriched over the centuries by waves of migration. This has led to rich cultures and multi-ethnic communities. According to the Office for National Statistics, the three most common countries of birth of immigrants to the UK are Poland, India, and Pakistan. The relationship between the peoples of England, Wales, and Northern Ireland has not always been straightforward or peaceful. Northern Ireland was formed in 1920 after the Unionist majority in the province decided they wished to remain in the United Kingdom and not join a united Ireland. This led to periods of civil unrest, with conflict continuing for over 30 years, with terrorist attacks in mainland Britain, the Republic of Ireland, and even continental Europe. This period of time is known as the Troubles, during which 3,600 people were killed and 1,000 more injured. There have been huge shifts in terms of religious observance. Like much of Western Europe, church attendance in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland is in decline, particularly in the mainstream denominations. Despite this, the church is often at the forefront of projects to help those in need, such as food banks, homeless shelters, and work among refugees. Each country has its own character and culture, but there are some traditions that span all three. All agree that there is nothing better than a cup of tea, and the weather is a constant talking point, as it is always unpredictable. The self-deprecating, witty, sometimes sarcastic British sense of humor has been exported throughout the world in the form of books, TV shows, and films. All three have been influenced and shaped by an array of extraordinary talents through science, music, theater, poetry, literature, dance, festivals, and other forms of art. Jocelyn Bell Burnell discovered radio pulsars. Her observation is considered to be one of the greatest astronomical discoveries of the 20th century. Shakespeare, Jane Austen, Zadie Smith, Seamus Heaney, and Dylan Thomas are just a few of the writers whose works are read and studied across the globe. Music is a vital part of their culture, and across the nations it is expressed in different forms, through classical music, ballads, punk, rock, pop, grime, and folk. Many hymns which are sung around the world originate from Wales. They are a nation of sports lovers, in particular football, what we call soccer, cricket, golf, rugby, tennis, cycling, and the Paralympic Games. Female participation in popular sports is gaining more respect and interest, resulting in better coverage on TV. The slightly damp climate in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland means that traditional food is often comforting and warming. Stews and dumplings, hot pies and sweet puddings have been enjoyed for hundreds of years. A nice cup of English breakfast or Earl Grey tea is a typical hot drink. There is a strong tradition of brewing and drinking beer, with many social activities taking place at the local pub, short for public house, where friends meet to linger over a pint. However, 1 in 4 low-income families struggles to provide food. The main reasons for needing to use a food bank have been given as low income, delays and changes to Social Security benefits, and being in debt. And yet there is hope. Allotments, council-allotted pieces of land on which to grow fruit, vegetables, and flowers, and community gardens are becoming very popular. There is a renewed interest in plant-based diets and a rise in vegetarianism. Since the beginning of industrialization, the birth rate has risen and infant mortality rate has fallen throughout England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The average woman in 1800 had between 5 to 7 children. Infant mortality now stands at 4 per 1,000. And new figures indicate that the number of children living in poverty is on course to hit 37%. Traditional family life is no longer the norm in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The most common size is 2 people. The second most common household size is 1. A recent study found that the average age of a single woman getting married is now 30 years, and life expectancy for women in the UK is 82. As a single World Day of Prayer organization, the three voices of England, Wales, and Northern Ireland have come together to present this year's service, recognizing differences, but also their common ground. The first services in England were held in the London area and moved across the south to Wales. During the period of the Second World War, women felt the urge to get together in prayer and fellowship. In 1967, Catholic women began to take part. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, there are now about 3,000 branches holding more than 4,000 services every year. And this year, we share in the worship service they have written for us.